are you pushing me?
What did you say?
So why are you pushing me? I haven't done anything to you.
First of all, you don't ask the questions around here. I do. You understand? Secondly, we don't want guys like you in this town.
A part of that plan, of course, is to induce the gradual surrender of American sovereignty, piece by piece and step by step, to various international organizations, of which the United Nations is the outstanding but far from the only example. Greatly expanded government spending for every conceivable means of getting rid of ever larger sums of American money as wastefully as possible. 2, higher and then much higher taxes. 3, an increasingly unbalanced budget despite the higher taxes. 4, wild inflation of our currency. 5, government controls of prices, wages, and materials, supposedly to combat inflation. 6, greatly increased socialistic controls over every operation of our economy and every activity of our daily lives. This is to be accompanied naturally and automatically by a correspondingly huge increase in the size of our bureaucracy and in both the cost and reach of our domestic government. 7, far more centralization of power in Washington and the practical elimination of our state lines. There is a many-faceted drive at work to have our state lines eventually mean no more within the nation than our county lines do now within the states. 8, the steady advance of federal aid to and control over our educational system, leading to complete federalization of our public education. 9, a constant hammering into the American consciousness of the horror of modern warfare, the beauties and the absolute necessity of peace, peace always on communist terms, of course. And 10, the consequent willingness of the American people to allow the steps of appeasement by our government which amount to a piecemeal surrender of the rest of the free world and of the United States itself.
Thomas Jefferson lives. He's Ron Paul. If Jefferson lived today, he would rail about the Federal Reserve. He wouldn't like that. He'd be appalled by our ongoing wars, our nonstop wars. Jefferson said, the less you use power, the greater it becomes. Compared to Ron Paul said, you sacrifice liberty for security, you lose both.
In 2008, when they bailed out the banks once, again, they should have set the ground to remove that problem. They did not. The banks today have hijacked the government. It's like inverse of what the French did. They socialized the banks in 1981. Well, here it's like the banks took over the government in the U.S.
President Bush actually claimed that he had to destroy the free market in order to save it. Before TARP, President Bush had given away $300 billion. And since TARP, President Obama has given away $1 trillion. Last week, he announced he wants to give away another $500 billion. The federal government is one of limited powers defined in the Constitution. Nowhere among them is the power to take tax dollars or to borrow money which the taxpayers must repay and give it or lend it to anyone.
The United States can pay any debt it has because we can always print money to do that.
Good. And what do you do, Roger?
I'm a financial consultant.
Ah, financial consultant. And how are Germany, France and Britain going, Roger?
Well, they're struggling a bit, aren't they?
Correct. Why?
Because they've lent all these vast amounts of money to other European economies that can't possibly pay them back.
Correct. So what are they going to do?
They're going to have to bail them out.
Correct. Where are they getting the money to do that, Roger?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one.
How much does Portugal owe?
Hang on a minute. What was the answer to that earlier question?
Just keep answering the questions, Roger. Where is Portugal going to get the money it owes to Germany if Germany can't get back the money that it lent to Italy?
Just a minute. What was the answer to the previous question? The question was, how can broke economies lend money to other broke economies who haven't got any money because they can't pay back the money the broke economy lent to the other broke economy and shouldn't have lent it to them in the first place because the broke economy can't pay it back?
You're wasting very valuable time, Roger. How much money does Spain owe to Italy?
$41 billion, but where are they going to get it?
Correct. What does Italy owe to Spain?
$27 billion, but they haven't got it. They're broke.
Correct. How can they pay each other if neither of them has any money?
They're going to get a bailout, aren't they?
Correct. And where's the money coming from for the bailout?
That's what I'm asking you.
Correct. Why are people selling the European currency and buying the US dollar?
Because the US economy is so much stronger than the European economy.
Correct. Why is that, Roger?
Because it's owned by China.
Correct.
All right, as investors, let's get to the money angle of this, the investment angle. As they struggle to get ahead of a slowing global economy and tumultuous financial markets, our next guest says this is all just the opening act to a financial catastrophe that will make 2008 pale in comparison, David?
Mark Faber is editor-publisher of the Gloom, Boom, and Doom Report. He joins us now on the phone from Hong Kong in a Fox Business exclusive. Mark, great to talk to you. You say that a big one is coming. How big and what is it going to be?
Well, it's going to be huge, but we don't know when, because the central banks around the world are going to print and print and print.
The Greeks just can't pay the goddamn money back, and Europe is a huge issue.
We now are a nation known to start war. We feel compelled because of our insecurity that we have to go over and attack these countries to maintain our empire. We have over 700 bases. We're in 130 countries, and they're talking about bombing Iran. It is such a dramatic change from what is truly American and truly constitutional.
If no one ever challenged the status quo,
does the debt matrix have you? Does the debt matrix have you? Does the debt matrix have you? Are you a part of the debt matrix? Does the debt matrix have you? Does the debt matrix have you? Does the debt matrix have you? Are you just a part of the debt matrix?
You thought you could, but you couldn't. And you thought you could step to B, but you know you shouldn't. So let me be most prudent. Thought you could be, they would get your back, but they wouldn't, so now you know better. Got some strange, even met a bedwetter, but as we move forward in 2013, you know DejaB's been on this since the age of the Byzantine. They are always keeping DejaB quiet, away from the masses. Poindexter and glasses, ain't he a riot? But my weapon is research. You have to know where you've been to know where you're going. Can't believe she's pregnant, she's isn't even showing. But if you don't study hard, you're gonna find yourself running up a big hill saying, yes sir, Sarge.
Does the debt matrix have you? Does the debt matrix have you? Does the debt matrix have you? Does the debt, are you a part of that debt? Does the debt matrix have you? Does the debt matrix have you? Does the debt matrix have you? Are you just a part of the debt matrix?
If no one ever challenged the status quo, if no one ever challenged
that you know the choice is between love or fear. Which way you gonna go? Are you gonna sit back and let others in suits dictate your future cause they own you like roots? Are you gonna snap out of it? Say enough's enough of shoveling their manure, and those whom think of you as just some loser. I'd get away from that crew, P. Become a dead assassin and join us in the fight against slavery reality. This debt thing is bullshit, you just heard it here from DejaB. Seems we've got enough to food to feed the world twice over, but not even enough love to fill up a bulldozer. But if you give the situation more than a once over, you'll see money doesn't exist in nature. That lie is just a matrix.
Does the debt matrix have you?
Does the debt matrix have you? Does the debt matrix have you? Are you just a part of the debt matrix? Does the debt matrix have you? Does the debt matrix have you? Does the debt matrix have you? Are you just a part of the debt matrix? Just another brick in the wall. Debt matrix, another brick. Just another brick in the wall. Debt matrix. Are you just another part of the debt matrix?
I don't want to run the world. The Constitution doesn't give me the authority to run the world. We ought to mind our own business is what we need to do. With all this spending overseas, wasting money. Spread the message. Thank you.
If no one ever challenged the status quo,